I am so excited to be interviewing this afternoon. I would say we're friends, even though we haven't met in person. I feel a great connection with Kelly. Kelly. So, Kelly, what is your last name?
It's Squire.
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 So, Kelly, introduce yourself, and I want you to share your website. And then, what I would like you to do is tell me about a little bit about how you came to do what you do.
Hi guys, I'm Kelly.
There you go.
My YouTube channel, Lunar Eclipse Tarot. I've been doing that for about 5 years now. And actually, how I started it's so interesting. If I would have met you 7 years ago, and you said you'll be doing a tarot channel full time, I'd be like, you're full of shit. I met somebody in August of 2018 that prompted me to start watching tarot, and I've never watched tarot, was never interested in tarot. So after meeting him and watching tarot about a year and a half later is when I started my channel, and then it just went from there. It was always super easy, and I did that while working full time for the state of Florida. So
What were you doing with the state of Florida?
I was a judicial assistant, basically just working for a judge. Anything you could think of, jurors, orders, e-filing, anything you could think of that a judge needs assistance with in his office is what I did for about 10 years. So
It's so interesting how different people come from different lives.
background,
And
yeah.
then, but I mean, it's not just you watching tarot. There must have been a sense you must have felt intuitive, or when did that start? Or when did you know that you had certain capabilities?
I would say I still probably doubt myself,
Mm.
which is interesting because I've done thousands of readings probably at this point, and the feedback is usually that I'm on point. This is something that I didn't even realize that I had the capability of doing. And actually, when I first felt the guide to do it, I had a friend who was a Reiki master who had trained in tarot, who had done all these things. And I was like, you need to start a channel. And she's like, yeah, but I got to do this. And she kept putting it off. And so after trying to put it off on her, I was like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Someone's got to start the channel. So then I did. And then
Mm.
it's crazy. And sorry if I end up coughing because it's really,
No, I
I got
really
a lot.
appreciate it. I know you don't
Yeah.
feel well, but I
Yeah.
appreciate that you kept our date.
Sorry about being a little bit late with the time though.
Hey, listen, we all have things that happen. So, one thing I've noticed with you, because I've watched some of your readings, and yes, you are definitely on point. I actually started watching it, I don't know, I have to be honest, both trying to see how do people work with the camera, what do they do it? Because when I was starting, I was like, I'm not technical per se. And I'm also very interested in esoteric things. I think I'm kind of intuitive myself. And I feel that I think people start doing readings, then they're sort of pulled a certain way. And I think that you are always basically tuning in to soulmates and counterparts, twin flames.
Yeah.
And I know that you always say nobody can tell you, but tell me a little bit about when you realized that that's what you were doing. There are lots of misunderstandings about twin flames. Let's put that out there at the beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It depends on who you really talk to about that topic. There are certain psychologists and other people that maybe at one point thought that they were on the twin flame journey that decided at some point that it was not, it was a trauma bond or all of these things. And I think in this moment, regardless if I am or am not a twin flame, I do believe that that connection does exist. And I think that that's important because I've seen channels that really were gung ho on twin flames, and then something must have happened. And then, like my situation, which I'm not going to go into details in, but then it kind of pulls them away and out of it and away from it. And I've always been a very firm, even if I am not a twin, maybe I'm just sort of like the, I don't
Speaker.
know. I don't know. I feel I just felt guided to do it because I feel here's something that was super important. When I first met my person and then found twin flames, there was a lot of doubting and there's no way this person is. And then starting my channel and still watching readings and seeing a lot of the readers just give you the reading. And so I was watching anywhere from 20 to 50 readings a day from different people, from whatever was recommended, from the people that I liked, re-watching their old videos. And nobody ever talked about anything that really had to do with the journey other than just feeding the ego, which is through the tarot, through the reading, through oracle cards and that sort of thing. And so when I found Kurt from New World All Star, this was maybe a little bit before I started my channel. It just completely shifted my focus on so many of these readings, doing twin flame readings, but not really giving you the meat or the substance for your soul, just kind of feeding your mind with how are they doing. And so I think fairly early on my channel, when I would talk about the twin flames, I've always thrown my advice in there. I've always kind of like, okay, focus on you, love yourself. It's not about the union with them. And I just feel like the community needs more of that instead of readers that just stick to the reading. Although I will say that I have tried many times to not give my advice. It must just be a part of something I can't change and maybe part of why I do what I do, because I just feel so inauthentic not chiming in and guiding more. And it's all based on opinion. I'm not an expert. I'm not in union. I'm not any of those things, but just to help really the collective in general, I think was more of the calling than this ever being a full-time thing or that was the intention from the beginning, to really try to help the divine feminines.
I think it's really important, and you're right. But the thing is that I was actually talking this morning. I had an interview with Amanda Woodward. Hopefully, you'll get to see it. She's actually someone who does energy work, and I took classes with her, and I wanted her to come because she's helped so many, and myself being one of them. And now I also do energy clearing, having learned from her. But we are all as human beings, intuitive beings. It's just some of us are born more aware of it, some of us are not. You have to fine tune the tool.
Yes.
But the thing is, maybe you're not aware of it, but when you are reading, you go into a zone. So when you go into that zone, something is coming through you. It's like your connection with source, with your higher selves that are giving you the information as well. So I think it is a service because there's so many people who are confused about twin flames or soulmates. I myself, I consider myself very lucky. I don't want to repeat myself, but I always say that I was born feeling I didn't belong. I remember distinctly when I was 3 years old, I was under my cot screaming, saying to my parents, "You're not my parents. I want to go home." Then I was sent to boarding school when I was 8. So all these said, I didn't feel I belonged. I really didn't feel I belonged. Inside me, I wasn't a child. I didn't play with dolls. I had maybe one doll. I like to hang around with the grown-ups. The thing is that I feel it was because of that that I started doing so much work on myself. And I always say, as I grow wiser, I like to call it, I don't like the three-letter words,
Yeah.
that I feel I'm so much younger. You know what I mean? I'm much happier. I'm more go-lucky, happy-go-lucky. So anyway, getting back to you, it's like you are bringing something. And we all have come here, especially at this time, because Earth is going through a lot of changes. Human beings are going through a lot of changes. And we each have a certain mission to
Yeah.
help other people. And it's always the people who've gone through so many more difficulties that can basically bring the knowledge from their wisdom to share it. So I
Yeah.
think that's what you're doing. And so you need to be a little more confident because whatever I've watched, it's like you're talking to me, you know what I mean? And I believe, and the other thing is, I think that you resonate with certain people. The energy goes with certain readers, I would like to say, and some others it's just whatever it's saying. Maybe it's not for you, but I don't know, something like that.
I
So I
think
think,
that I think that's a commonality too, because I don't remember being that young feeling like I didn't belong, but I do remember at some point in my life feeling more of like an outcast. I never really had a lot of friends. People never really got me. Funny, I had someone who left a comment the other day on one of my videos over the weekend or from last week asking if I was on the spectrum because I make noises and I'm but that's the biggest thing. Maybe it's not even to help twin flames or whatever, but maybe it's to help people be authentically themselves, because the people that usually get upset with me are probably people that maybe would love to sing and can't sing and judge themselves. And so what you get on camera is really who I am as a person. I've always made weird noises. I've always been inappropriate in the way that I am in my readings. I've always been that way. And authenticity, it's like 4,000 times stronger than even happiness when it comes to energy. Just being yourself, regardless if people think that you're autistic or people think you can't sing or whatever it is, to shine that light out there. But it's interesting, and I think my battle with that is because my mom raised us very strong religious background, Christianity. We were going to church 3 times a week. I went to a Christian private school, and there's actually been a few times my mom, since I've started my channel, has told me that I'm going to meet the devil when I die because of the work that I do. And so I do feel like there is a little bit of an internal struggle, because I guess there's part of me that feels like that could be true, but then I tame it back and I'm like, well, I don't feel like what I'm doing is evil. I've never been, like even though I'm a channel with spirit when I'm doing the readings, I don't see the evil in it. And so I feel I have an internalized struggle with that because of my upbringing and because of things that have been said. But
so you underlined it. That's what you need to heal, darling. Those are all programming, and we know all about programming, right? What you're supposed to do. I don't know. I never followed the rules very well, so
and bringing what you
right.
were saying about your life purpose, and if you're alive right now that the world needs it, have you ever looked into, I believe it is your north node that tells you roundabout what you should be doing or what your calling is? So
Well,
for
your north node, so yes, I'm a Vedic astrologer. So your north node exaggerates everything, gives you the push to go for it. And depending on what planet it's with, it exaggerates that planet. I actually have my north node exactly on my Venus. So,
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
And
It's
so and
go
your
ahead.
south node basically shows what you have mastered in a previous life. So
Interesting.
there are other ways of seeing what your dharma and as we call it is, but we can discuss that another time.
Yeah, well, I just
It's
brought it
about
up.
you.
At one time, there was a reader who pointed me, because I don't read charts. I don't do anything outside really of what you see me do on the channel. I never really was interested in that. It's sort of like reading Chinese to me. But someone at some point said, "Oh, your North Node shows what your purpose is," and it was interesting because when I looked it up, my North Node is in Gemini, and Gemini talks about public speaking, and I was like, "Oh, how
Communication.
interesting!" And even in relates to my twin or not twin, when I had a chart that was built by somebody in there, it said that he would be the catalyst to my calling in helping humanity, and I was like holy shit.
There you go.
So anyways.
Obviously, he was because you started your channel. Actually, send me the time you were born. I'll look and see where it is. I
Okay,
know.
I just
So,
know it's in Gemini.
so Western astrology and Vedic astrology is a little different because
Yeah.
Vedic astrology, you look at the sidereal. So, for example, I'm a Libra ascendant, but in Vedic, I'm a Virgo ascendant. So I
Oh,
have my
interesting.
moon in Cancer in Western, but my moon is in Gemini. So it goes back depending on the degree that it is. But interestingly enough, state the same thing when you look at the overall. But it's
Interesting.
really a
And it's
science.
interesting. One of the first readers that I found would do the Vedic, so I'm familiar with it, but I just, oh. So,
It's amazing how much information it gives you. So when you were born, it's the blueprint, meaning who you are and what you're here to do. And then we all have free will choice, but you can also look at your progressions and then the transits and so on. So you can also see if someone is psychic, if someone is going to be a
oh,
good
really?
medium, a lot of
Really?
different things. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Because actually, someone who has strong Gemini or Virgo, it usually states that they have certain abilities for esoteric. I have to look at other houses, but just in general.
And how long have you studied that for?
So I started Western astrology. I'm aging myself now,
What
about 35 years ago. I started studying Vedic about probably 10 years ago. Yeah.
I would love if you would be comfortable reading my chart. I'll pay you and everything.
Absolutely. Sure. Send me your
I'd
info.
love that. I'd love
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So I know that you have a beautiful boy
that. Yeah,
that is in the background, and you
yeah.
also have a young girl, right?
I do. She'll be 14 in about a week and a half.
Wow, a
It was
teenager.
perfect. God blessed me. I've got both of my kids at the tantrum age. A 3-year-old and a 14-year-old girl. It's fun. God blessed me.
Yes, God bless you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, enjoy every day because they
I
grow up.
know.
It goes so fast. But as long as they're, especially with your daughter, as long as she's on the proper path, you're very lucky because I have a spa and I deal with so many people, and so many people have so many problems with children and
Yeah.
mothers.
She's sassy, but no, you could always be worse. You could be leaving the house at 2 in the morning. She doesn't she's so I'm blessed in that way, but sometimes the sass,
Yeah.
it's all me. So I can't blame anyone but me. It's me, it's me. Oh,
And my
spinning
mother
the
said, "You wait," because I used to come home late when I was 17, 18, and my mother used to say, "Just wait till you have children of your own, then I'll tell you."
payback.
So tell me, through this period of having starting reading tarot, and then as you go along, there must be certain times that you have like, wow, something comes to you, or after so many times you get confirmation of, I don't know, something new. What can you share some of those with us?
The person that I met that I felt was my whatever the connection is, it's obviously powerful enough to redirect my entire life. And my son, who's 3, Angel, is his. There was a time that I remember very distinctly where we were talking very heavily for about a week, every day, voice notes, messages, very, very connected physically in the 3D aspect of it. And I had to get some work done. I had some readings, and I just remember pausing in between some of the readings, and I was like, oh shit, if this continues, I'm going to end up on some TV. I don't remember what one it was that I named. I'm going to be on 60 Minutes or something. I just felt like so connected. And it does happen. And there's parts of me that question, is this coming from me? Am I actually being a channel? Some healing sessions that I took at some point, she asked me questions and she's like, do you remember your readings? And I'm like, not really. And she's like, so that is your clear sign right there that it's not coming from you, that you are a channel and it's in that moment in the reading. But there have been many times that was just one that kind of popped out to me, because I remember like, I'm going to be on Maury or something. Like I was just like, it was insane on how accurate, even without any feedback, I felt like I was. And it goes back to trusting your intuition, because shuffling the cards and I'm like, oh, look at the bottom, and just trusting it and not like, no, I'm not going to look at the bottom. And there is alignment with the rest of the reading. It's beautiful. But like I said, I struggle with believing my ability personally. People refer to me sometimes as a psychic, and I'm just kind of like, no, I'm just more of an intuitive reader. I feel things and I hear things. So I guess I could potentially be psychic with the things that I hear, but I sort of shun it And again, I think it's really because of my childhood and how I was raised. And I never really gave any thought to tarot in general. So now here I am doing this for a living. It's something that I still do struggle with. So that's something that I need to heal and that I need to be able to move past, because regardless of whatever, I'm here to really help people. So
Yeah.
regardless if I believe it or
Listen,
it's,
you're a child of God, and God does not punish. That's
yeah,
unfortunately part of the religion, that
yes.
because they want people to be fearful. But always people ask me what religion, because I come from two different parts, and I'm like, I'm a spiritual person. That's what I am. I speak to God all the time. I don't need to go to the temple or a mosque or a church.
To
And it's
worship
actually
him.
very interesting because I said I was sent to boarding school when I was 8 and a half, and I was actually part of the choir
Oh,
at
wow.
my school. So yeah, it's funny. But yeah, and you can share, because I really think that you're not giving yourself enough credit.
Because
Because
there's a part of me that feels like anybody can do it. Anybody do, but then there's also part of me that's like, okay, Kelly, easy to say, because when you started, it just came so naturally. Front, I think I had 100 subscribers. Within 2 months, I hit 1,000, was monetized.
yeah, you have so many followers. I mean,
So
subscribers.
you know
And
how that happened.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, not so much. I've only got about 130 members. I've never really gotten a lot on Patreon. I don't push it. But I don't really push it because I don't like selling. If interested, they can join. If not, it is what it is. What I do find interesting though is, so it was 2 years that I hadn't seen the person that got me interested in tarot. And when I finally saw him, he confirmed, it wasn't just because of the intimacy, like I knew. And he even talked about watching my channel and how I reminded him of his aunt. And this is someone that I didn't even date, just kind of hanging out, having fun.
Mm,
Um, and I get pregnant. Okay. And he had a vasectomy. So this is something, that has a way of healing itself. I was one and done. There was no question that anything was going to happen. And when I got pregnant, I remember, and this is why I say so much, if there's anyone that's watching that, potentially they've met a twin flame, to trust your intuition. There was nothing about twin flames having kids. And actually, people saying if you had kids, it's probably not your twin. And again, that's based on opinion.
right.
And when I got pregnant, I was so I was so devastated. I was like, I'm wrong. This is not my person. I stopped doing twin flame readings and I started doing zodiac readings. Now, when I stopped doing twin flame readings, I was at about 4,000 subscribers. When I started doing zodiac readings within the year, basically, pregnant and whatever, I went from like 4,000, 20,000 subscribers, but it made or paved the way for me to do my channel full time. Had I just had the 4,000, I would not, there's no way I would have taken the leap and I would have done it full time. So looking back at things that have happened, like the pregnancy and then how I felt, and then I started doing zodiacs, and eventually I made my way back to doing twin flame readings, but it was perfectly designed to get the subscribers that I needed to feel comfortable to do my channel full time. So really just trusting, again, not only yourself, your intuition, and taking with a grain of salt everything, because it's all based on opinion. Some people say there absolutely is an age gap. Some people say no, there's not. Some people say you will have kids. Some people look at it as being very karmic. It's all based on opinion, and follow the money and find the truth, because usually the people that are trying to sell you something are going to try to put it in some type of construct, and this type of connection cannot be confined. It cannot be placed in a box, because there are so many different, and again, whether I'm actually a twin flame or not, it led me to this place where I'm doing something that I absolutely love, that I had no interest in. I mean, I know I watched tarot. I knew that tarot was there, but I never sought it out until I met this man.
Right.
So
That's
it's crazy.
interesting. I
It's
think
crazy.
that we each have to just really go within and ask ourselves, And yeah, a bunch of, I actually did my first past life regression when I was 25.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't, you don't know this about me, but I used to do makeup and nails for, uh, celebrities and
Oh, really?
fashion shoots and commercials. So I was working a couple of days with Shirley MacLaine, and that was the time that
Oh, wow.
she had just come out with her books about, her to Peru and how she met the aliens. And then it was about how did life regression with acupuncture needles through this lady whose name was Chris Criscom, who actually still has a center in New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
She does life regressions. Anyway, so I was like on a quest. I have to find someone. I didn't find anyone that did, needles, but I found someone who did it through hypnosis. And that was one of the, I have to say, the best therapies I got because that healed my relationship with my father. Because we always, from very early on, and when I did that, I realized all the different things that happened that I would like feel disgust, and I realized what that was from. But it like at the snap of a finger, it healed it. It was amazing. So
The hypnotherapy, you're the second person that has brought that up. And so now when you're saying it, I'm like, okay, maybe it's something I need to look into because they also mentioned not so much about, getting with your person or whatever it is you're looking for, but he basically said the hypnotherapy helps you love yourself more. And you're talking about how it healed your relationship with your father.
yes, it did.
If you have someone to recommend,
I
I
do. He's actually in Sarasota, but I'll send you his
oh cool.
information. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh,
He's
you go in person to see him.
well, you don't have to. I think he can do it on Zoom as well, but
Okay.
you have to discuss that with him. But
Okay. But
I've done it 4 times. Uh,
okay.
I've done it twice in Sarasota with a lady, and I think the place, I don't know, I mean, should, but where we were at, I think it wasn't comfortable or something. But
Gotcha.
anyway, things came through me. I did it with, I'm was seeing, whatever. Anyways, but this one, confusion. uh, This one, though, his name is Amin, and it was interesting because, again, it confirmed another lifetime that I had had with that person. And I went and checked it because, anyway, story, I was a queen and he was a king. And I
Oh,
went and checked it, and it was in the 13th century. So,
dude.
yeah.
Very interesting. Well, give me your highest recommendation.
I will, absolutely.
You're the
But
second
I,
person.
I
So
absolutely. Well, as you know, there's no coincidence, right? We people meet for a reason, you have discussions for a reason, because we are all supposed to help each other on an energetic level, so
maybe that's the big break that I need is the hypnotherapy
yeah,
because
that
I,
helps.
I do know that's my biggest struggle with the father wounds. Not my dad there and seeking out generally most all of my life unavailable men looking for the love from him that I never got. So maybe that could help. Yeah.
Childhood wounds are so important because they really paint the tapestry of our life. So,
Yeah.
I say, I don't know, there's nothing to be afraid. I don't know, maybe it's easy to say. Maybe I'm courageous. I don't know. But it's like it's much easier. It's like fear is the fear itself because once
Yes.
you take the step, it's not, it's like me. I go cold plunge. I had missed a week because it was busy and I was like, oh, and I said, you know what? It's only going to be 2 or 3 minutes. You can handle anything. And you go in, you stay in, scream and make noises. But hey, into it. But what I wanted to speak to you about was you have some cards that you have also made. Tell us a little bit.
Oh Lord, the 18 plus. Oh, I can't really talk about them because you're going to put this up on your YouTube channel, but
Well, you can say that they're,
they were designed based on interactions between me and my person. When I first started doing tarot, I did dabble and I started doing 18 plus readings. And when I was looking for decks, I have about 6 or 7 of them, and all of them are fairly vanilla. And at some point, I just kind of felt like you should create a deck because this type of disgusting deck is not out there. I mean, and that's why the name of the deck is Nasty AF, because it truly is, stuff in there, but there's some pretty hardcore stuff. Um, so I do plan on making other decks as well, but the 18 plus was at the top because I am so inappropriate and so,
But you are not inappropriate in the bedroom.
oh yeah, no, but there are some things in the deck that some people that are even open-minded may not be open-minded to, but I just kind of felt like I was kind of filling,
The void.
had been there, I want to, with roses. And it's like, no, I want to like, so I needed a deck like that. And so that kind of motivated me. And then obviously I took things, between the connection with me and my person and also kind of as well. But
So he has really, I mean, in so many ways.
again, the that I had that was done, I can't remember the reader that did it for me. I remember one specific section where it said that he basically was like the to my life calling and my life purpose. And I'm not saying, I'm going to do forever, but doing what I do now, he was the catalyst to where I'm at. I was the state for 10 years. It was one of the best jobs that I ever had. Insurance was amazing. What I did. And to what I said earlier, if I would have met you 7 years ago and you were like, Kelly, like years from now, you're going to have almost 80,000 subscribers doing tarot full time. You've got a son with, I would have been like, you're nuts. Okay. Like I have, but everything's so perfectly designed down to my pregnancy, that me where I'm at today. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't feel so blessed and so honored for whatever reason, having chosen this life, even though I'm still waiting for the contract. Okay. Because there's a lot of things in there that I'm like, no, I didn't sign up for this shit. But yeah, I feel so blessed. And I've always been very altruistic and wanting to help people. And, readings necessarily don't help, but it's the in between. I think that helps. And then again, just my energy and being authentic, helping other people be them, can sing and she can't sing, then maybe I should sing. It's about what's good for you and what you love to do, not how people are going to perceive it. So,
Yeah. Well, I think that yes, readings do help. And, combination of, we are talking one-on-one, it's like comes up and then you get pushed to share something else and it's meant to be there. So, yeah. And so, incompatibility readings, but we'll speak about that later. But anyhow, so any last golden nuggets that you want to share with us? First of all, what is your Patreon, and repeat your websites and how people can contact you?
I'll just keep it simple. If you look up Lunar Eclipse Tarot on YouTube, you'll find my channel, almost 8 subscribers. And then all like my Patreon, the deck, everything is in the description box. So once you find Lunar as in the moon, Eclipse Tarot, 3 separate words.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
The only thing that I have to end on, that you were saying about coincidence, something that ended up coming across my path, not by coincidence. In ancient Hebrew, there was no word for coincidence because they believed that everything came from God.
Yeah.
And so that's something when I'm like, well, what are the chances of that happening? There's not. Everything that happens, whether it's good, bad, whatever it is.
I've forgotten the word that starts with an S, but anyway.
Yeah. But when you were saying that, I just, and to trust yourself, especially if there's anyone who's watching that feels like they've met a twin flame, because there really is a lot of naysaying out there. And I feel there may be a decent amount of tarot readers that maybe started their channel because of meeting somebody, but they don't really kind of like I'm my people through the fucking desert. Can we get to the promised land? Can we not do this 40 years? Can we get there sometime soon? So yeah,
Well,
but
I think now, because of the times that we are, because the source's light is so much stronger and getting stronger more and more, um, actually, I'm pretty sure twin flames will come together much sooner. Because I know people who, from a long time ago, who've waited 20, 25 years or something like that. Yeah, the newer generation will get sooner. And at point, I mean, is you love somebody, I mean, the best for the person. I'm never like,
unconditionally
absolutely, yeah, we want them to be happy.
and that's what it's back to what you were saying about the earth needing it right now. I agree so strongly, because a lot will look at this, on Reddit and Quora and all these different places, they're supposed to be together and there's some type of mission, and it's really about the unconditional love. And when you have unconditional love for your person, regardless of where they're at and what they're doing and what they need to heal or what they're not healing or whatever, that extends in other areas of your life. And it's more the earth needing that love.
I think right
Especially,
now, a
yeah,
lot of healing is happening with people who are
especially,
working out their karmas with their partners. So
yeah,
those are relationships, and
yeah,
all had some of those.
yeah.
Uh, so I
Every
think that,
connection
yeah,
outside of your person is a karmic.
yeah.
But again, that's based on my opinion, and so
But
that's the
I tell you, in Vedic astrology, you can actually see, and that's why I love compatibility readings,
mm.
because you can see.
Girl, sign me up. You gonna do it tonight? My mind is like, do it tonight. I will pay you whatever you want.
Anyway, it was lovely chatting with you. I hope that you feel so much better, and
Thank you.
send me your info and his info, absolutely with pleasure. Yes. And kiss your little boy. He's so cute. I thought maybe he would come and say hello to us.
No, I got the door locked. My dad's here. My dad's
Okay.
here because yeah, no. Sometimes I got no choice, but I like to kind of there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. I had
Absolutely. It was a very enjoyable interview. Thank you. And maybe we can do number two when you come reach the promised land.
I don't think I
Don't,
don't
don't say that. Don't say that. Anyway, much love. Thank you so much.
Yes. Bye.